Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the DC Capstone Report. This week's a little different because Alabama didn't have a game last week. They had an open day. So this time on the podcast, we'll have three segments. In our first segment, we're going to take a look at what Alabama was able to accomplish in the off week, what they were able to get done. In the second segment, we're going to take a look at and preview the upcoming game against LSU in Baton Rouge. And finally, in our third and final segment today, we're going to take a look at some of the Alabama players who I feel will step up and make a big impact in this game against LSU. The DC Capstone Report is featured each Tuesday morning on Tide 102.9, The Morning Blitz with Martin Houston. You can listen live at Tide1029.com. Well, coming off of a bye week, Alabama had an opportunity to take advantage of that. And for all of our listeners out there, I think it's important to kind of see what Alabama was able to do and take a look at, discuss a little bit, because I think it's going to bode well for us in the coming days. Using a bye week to your advantage is a specialty of Coach Nick Saban. I've always said that if you give Coach Saban a week to prepare for a game, or you give Coach Saban a week to prepare for a big playoff game, or he has always got his team in a position and uses that week wisely to learn, to get better. Some teams take a step back during off weeks because they get complacent and they get time to rest. But early on last week, Coach Saban challenged his players with, hey, how are you going to use this bye week? Are you going to use this bye week to coast and not worry? And to get some relief, or are you going to use it to catapult you into the final stretch of your season so that you can do something different, do something great? And I think Alabama, for everything I could see from last week, the Alabama team kind of accepted that challenge. It was business as usual on the capstone during the time here. They worked hard in practice. They did a good job. Kept themselves out of trouble during some of the downtime and off time. In a bye week, you do want to use some of the time for rest and relaxation and restoring of your bodies to good health. And that's one thing that Alabama has been good at doing. We have a great training department. We have a great strength and conditioning department. You use this time to get stronger, not to lose any of your edge. And to build, that strength and endurance, especially in conditioning, to keep your conditioning well at a great level during this off week so that you don't lose any of that conditioning edge. And I think Alabama was able to do that. I believe we got healthy. Some of the people who were nicked up and bruised have been playing through some, at this time of the season, everybody's playing through something, some bumps and bruises. And I think Alabama was able to use this time to get healthy and make a difference that way. In the team. I think you'll see them come out crisp and rested, but I don't think you'll see them come out out of shape. It looks like Alabama maintained that during this week, so I look forward to seeing them come out against LSU and seeing how they're able to use that bye week of rest, taking some time off of the hitting to recuperate and get some people well. So I think that some of those that didn't have full speed during the past couple of games, you'll see them at full speed in this game. One of the injuries that took place was to Jalen Hurts, and that high ankle sprain. I think he can come back from that injury and play. Cam Robinson showed you could do that. He came back and had a great game against LSU during his tenure here when he had a high ankle sprain, did the procedure that Jalen had. But in this game, I think Tua was able to play. If he's able to play at 100%, if his knee has gained the health that it needed to over this last week, I think you'll see him play in this game and maybe not need to use Jalen in this game. It would be great if we could save him for our down the road. I just really believe that using this last bye week to get Tua healthy was a big part of our game plan down the road, maybe using this game and maybe even the next game to give Jalen some rest to get him back to 100% on his high ankle sprain. Another thing you do in a off week, and we alluded to it a little bit last week, Lance, was that all our listeners out there know that you don't look ahead to another game, but you use the time you have valuable time to work on and game plan and scheme for different teams. So I think Alabama was able not only to scheme for LSU, but for Mississippi State and for Auburn, those teams down the road. So that was a big emphasis as well this week to get ready to see some things that you do down the road with different teams. Another thing you do, and I think you'll probably see it in this game, is coming in against a big rivalry like LSU. Having a week off allows you to put into your game plan things that you've not shown in times in games past. What I mean by that is every team has a tendency that they do go with, certain plays they go with in certain situations. And when you have an off week, you get a chance to use all of your analysts to go back and analyze all of your game plan, all of your game plans that you've had, and all of your play calling that you've had, both on offense and defense. If there's anything there that's a tendency that your opposing team could take advantage of, it gives you time to see that, recognize it, and make a change. So I think Alabama, you'll see some different sets coming into this game. You'll see them run out of some different sets. You'll see them pass out of some different sets, and use that to their advantage this week that they've had to get ready. So I think they use the bye week to their advantage to get healthy. I think they use the bye week to their advantage to scheme and game plan for other teams down the road, including LSU. And I think they've used this bye week to look for tendencies that they may have had during the past that the team that they're about to play can take advantage of, and then correct those in this game. So I think you might see us come out in different sets, both on offense and defense. So overall, I think it was a great week for Alabama to get ready for the next game against LSU, and I believe they did take advantage of all of those areas in getting themselves ready for this next game when they go and face the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge.
You have been listening to the DC Capstone Report. The DC Capstone Report is brought to you each time this week by RollTideBama.com and FreelancePitchers.com. Well, coming off a bye week, going into the next game, it's the next game on the schedule, so it is the biggest game we've played all year. It'll be against the toughest opponent defensively. By far, I think LSU will be one of the toughest opponents we face there in Baton Rouge. So there's several things that we need to look at in the preview in this game to see how Alabama is going to come out and what they're going to do in handling this task that's before them. But going down to Baton Rouge for a night game in LSU Death Valley Stadium is a daunting task. So the first question I think that we're going to have to ask is, how will Alabama handle the atmosphere at night playing there in Death Valley? I believe this Alabama team is ready to take up on this challenge. And what I mean by that is I believe they've been conditioned. They've been taught to take advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. And I believe playing on a national stage against a great team like LSU in Death Valley, where they have a decided advantage of crowd, noise, and everything that we're going against Alabama, I believe Alabama will play on that and use it to their advantage, because they're going into a hostile environment, have to overcome the adversity of the crowd noise, and I really believe that Coach Saban will have our team ready to play. So I don't think it'll affect Alabama as much it may affect other teams going in there. These players are being challenged to be on the national stage, have an opportunity to complete what their goal has been this year, to be national champions. And to do that, they have to beat LSU, and they have to beat them handily and decidedly there. And what better place to do it than in Baton Rouge in the Tiger Stadium. Alabama has had a good run of playing LSU there, beating them there. But it's always a hard game, a hard-fought game, and a tough game. This will be a hard-hitting game, and I think the atmosphere will give LSU an advantage. But I believe Alabama overcomes the adversity of the atmosphere in this game and rises up and plays to a different level because of the adversity they face. And I think they do a good job going there into Baton Rouge. The next question to look at is, can Alabama establish a running game and a passing game and not be one-sided? It'd be a balanced attack. If Alabama comes out on offense and establishes a running game and a passing game in the equal amounts, I believe it'll be very tough for LSU to defend. LSU has a great defense. They have great talent. They have recruited well. They have a good coach. Defensively, they will
that would bring a force against Alabama. I think this year the difference is in the past teams that would go down to Baton Rouge, you knew you had to stop the run because Alabama used the run to set up the pass. This is a completely different Alabama team. I see an advantage here to Alabama going into LSU with the ability to pass the ball like they've done. LSU is going to have to respect Alabama's passing game. As long as Tua is healthy and we have our wide receivers, I expect Devontae Smith might even be back for this game. But if not, Jalen Waddle filled in great for him. All the wide receiver playmakers we have with Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs III, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, I believe it bodes well for Alabama to establish that passing game, but not forget about the run. Being able to run will always help the pass, and being able to pass will always help the run. Being one-dimensional can get you beat in a game like this. So I think Alabama has the advantage this year because they really have an upscale passing game. And I look for Coach Loxley to go against some of the tendencies that LSU may have seen on film and kind of use them to our advantage to put Alabama in a position to have the right play called at the right time. So I think we're going to have some big plays in the running game, and I think we're going to have some big plays in the passing game. Now, the next question is, can Alabama step up on defense and stop the run? LSU seems to be a predominantly running team. In the games that they've won and in the games that they've won or lost based on what they've been able to do in the running game. Their quarterback, Joe Burrow, is a transfer in from Ohio State, and he's done a very good job. But I think their passing game has lacked a little bit, whether it be in the quarterback or the receivers, maybe not being on the same page, throwing in just the right place. Some difficult catches were missed. His percentage level on pass completions has not been very good. So if Alabama can stop the run in this game, I think it bodes really well for the defense. Now, I believe Alabama can do that. Some people have criticized this defense as saying that they're not as good as defenses in the past years, but I beg to differ with that. I believe this defense is good as we've had in the past. I just think it's been difficult for the defense to play when the offense has been having drives that's 45 seconds or a minute and a half or a minute and 12 seconds. When the defense has been used to coming in and playing after a 6-minute drive where they've had plenty of time to game plan on the side and to scheme and to rest and be ready to go back out there and stop them in those 3 and outs. And so I think this team has had to adjust to that. And I think they've done well. I think every game up until now, Alabama's defense has gotten better and better. And I really believe that we're also built not only to stop the pass and against running quarterbacks, I think we're also built to stop the run. So I see Alabama rising up and answering that question in the positive. I think give the advantage here to Alabama's defense. I believe we'll be able to stop the run against LSU and make them pass. Now, the final question in previewing this Alabama-LSU game is, can Alabama pressure the quarterback? When our run defense is so good that we put him in 3rd and long situations, can we pressure the quarterback, make him make bad decisions, bad throws, and get off the field on 3rd downs? I think a big advantage in this game would be if we can get off the field on 3rd downs, we can stop them and make them punt or either make them with a turnover. And in this game, I think it's going to be critical. Now, I believe Alabama has some edge rushers, has some schemes where we can blitz the money or the star player on our defense in there to really put pressure on the quarterback. You have been listening to I believe that Tosh Lapoy will use that to his advantage in this game on how he does that, whether he does it with our edge rushers or whether he does it with a blitzing safety or cornerback. Either way, putting pressure on Joe Burrow will bode well for us. His history up to this point is that when he's pressured, he has a very low percentage rate. I think when he's pressured, he's completing about 30% of his passes. His 3rd down efficiency goes drastically down when there's pressure on him. So I think I'm sure Alabama has seen those statistics and has watched that on film. So I look for Alabama to exploit that and getting them in these 3rd down conversions, get them in 3rd and long or 3rd and medium, and pressuring the quarterback. I think what that's going to do is cause us to get off the field on 3rd down and also cause us to get some turnovers. So all of those previewing of the LSU game, to me, in my mind, bode well for Alabama. I believe that we're going to have a distinct advantage in all those areas. I think LSU is going to come to play. The atmosphere is going to be great, but Alabama will be able to overcome that with adversity. I think LSU is going to try to stop our running game and make us be one-dimensional and play a prevent type defense to stop the passing game, keep everybody in front of them. But I believe Alabama takes advantage of that and runs the ball out of formations that we haven't seen before and gains some yardage in a running game, which makes our passing game even better. I think LSU is going to lean heavy on the run to try to take time off the clock to keep our explosive offense from having the ball. I think stopping the run and getting off the field on third down is going to be critical, and I think we're built to do that with our run defense. And I think pressuring the quarterback on third down is going to be critical. I answer all those questions in the affirmative. I think Alabama rises up, and I think they do a good job in this game planning and scheming, and we have a really full, complete game against LSU, and Alabama comes out with a victory. Well, looking at our third and final segment, I want to highlight some players that I think are going to step up and be big in this LSU game. I've already said in our second segment I think Alabama is going to win, and I believe these players having a big game is going to tell you the point spread, even what it's going to be and what the score of the game is going to be. But I look for Alabama to establish a good running game against LSU, because I believe LSU believes they can stop the run. So I think critical in this game is going to be Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs. I look for Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs in the first half to really pound our offensive line, open up some great blocking, and really pound the line to get that 4 and 5 and 6 yards at a time, which is going to really open up our passing game. When LSU can't stop the run because they're concentrating so much on the pass, I believe it's going to really open up the passing game when they try to adjust to those. And when that happens, Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs are going to be an integral part of that. But when that happens, when you start establishing the run, Tua is going to be the other player that steps up and has a big game passing. I look for him to be playing in this game late into the third, fourth quarter. I think he takes advantage of some things that LSU gives him, and he steps up and has a big game passing. So on offense, I look for Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs to have big games running the ball, and look for Tua on this national stage to have his Heisman moment against LSU in this game and have a good game. On defense, there's three players that I really think are going to have a good game. One is, it starts with Mack Wilson getting the team in the right play. I believe his film study has improved. I believe his getting us in the right play has improved. And I look for him being able to get us in the right play against LSU on first, second down to stop the run is going to be critical in this game if we can get him in a third and long situation. So look for Mack Wilson to make a big impact on the way he calls the game and getting us in the right play in that middle linebacker position. The second player I think on defense is going to be stepping up in this game is Quinnen Williams. I really believe that this is a game built for Quinnen Williams to have his biggest tackle game of the season. LSU is going to be running the ball, and I believe Quinnen Williams is built to stop the run. So I look for him to have some great plays to establish that line of scrimmage, to really get some push into the backfield, even affect the quarterback on passing plays. So I look for LSU to try to pass on first and second down. I look for Quinnen Williams, when he's not stopping the run, to be affecting the quarterback on first and second down. So I believe his pressure in stopping the run and his pressure in the quarterback will be instrumental in our defense rising up and having a great game. The third player I think is going to have an impact on this game is our safety, Deontay Thompson. Deontay Thompson is known as a big hitter, and I think you'll have an opportunity to make some big hits in this game. But I believe that where he's going to really step up is in that safety position. He has such range, and he can really get a track on the ball. To me, in watching Joe Burrow throw the ball, I think he throws up a lot of balls that puts a lot of air on them that will give Deontay Thompson a good chance to track that ball. So I wouldn't be surprised for him to have 1 or 2 interceptions in this game that really make this game, just get out of hand soon. With all that being said, if everything that I've said in this podcast comes to pass, that Alabama passes all those tests that we talked about in the second segment, if they've taken advantage that we talked about in the first segment of that off week, I really believe Alabama could come in here and this could be a game that gets out of hand early if Alabama does that. So I'm going to predict my score based on that. I think Alabama's hitting on all cylinders. These players step up, and I believe Alabama wins this game handily. The final score at the end of the game there in Baton Rouge and Death Valley will be Alabama 52, LSU 19.
The DC Capstone Report is brought to you each time this week by RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com. Be sure to go online and check us out on DCCapstoneReport.com for future updates.